Welcome to the West Virginia Case Podcast, hosted by Les Odell. Join us as we dive deep into all things strange, including Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, and more. Pull up a chair and set for a spell. It's going to be a great time. Now, without further delay, let's get the show started.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to the West Virginia Case Podcast. Tonight we're just going to probably just do a kind of open mic night. I had a guest that we've been back and forth for him to come on. I don't know what happened, but our communication we lost communication somehow. He just, I don't know. I think he told me one time his internet was out, and I haven't heard from him now for a couple of days. So I was just waited to see if we could get back in contact with each other. And I told him I would send him a link, and I've never got a response. So didn't bother to try to get somebody else on. I figured I would just do an open mic night and just chat with everybody here in the chat room and see what we can get into, share some stories or something, or share some experiences, talk about some different I guess theories on stuff or whatever you want to talk about. I'm up for it all. So yeah, if anybody wants to come in, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat here. Hold on, give me a second. And you can come on and share your story, your encounter, your whatever you want to talk about tonight. Or it's up to you guys. If you got questions for me, I'll do my best to answer them. I know a few things, but not a whole lot. I'm just reading chat here, folks. Hey guys. Hey Dave. Hey Tammy. Hey Danny. Hey Johnny. How y'all doing tonight? It's been a crazy week. Been busy at work. I had something on my mind here recently for the entire week. It's been I guess you'd say not really consuming me, but it's got me thinking about a lot of different things. Something I actually experienced this past weekend. I showed Tammy today. I seen Tammy today and showed her the video. Unfortunately, I can't share it on here because they've asked for me not to put it out in the public. They want to keep their privacy, which I understand, and I'm very, very, very conscious of that. I make sure that I'm honorable when it comes to that. I believe in somebody's privacy. I don't believe in just getting out there, putting something out there, even though I experienced something that was pretty amazing. It was something I've never experienced before. I mean, I can talk a little bit about it, but I can't give any location. I can't give any names out. I can't really share what I caught on anything, social media of any sort. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you to all you, like all you guys that are on here. Every week you guys are here. I appreciate it. And hey Vesta. Oh, hey Brody, what's up, buddy? Guys, if you want to know who the next generation of Bigfooting is here in West Virginia, right there's the man right there. He's a young man that's doing very well for himself as far as investigating. I'm very impressed with what he does. He's down in there in Randolph County, and yeah, I mean he's doing well. He does things right. I like how he does it, and I got to talk to him, spend some time with him and his family here a while back, and then again here recently with his grandparents. But yeah, Brody, you're doing a great job, buddy. You're an inspiration, man. That some younger folks are out there getting into the Bigfooting, the research, and you're doing it the right way. And for those that don't know what I mean by the right way, he documents the stuff the right way. He researches the way he should be. His little research area that he has, he's mapping that research area. Anything that happens, anything different, he knows about it, and he's doing, like I said, he's doing the right way. And when time comes, he will expand, and he will be one of your next researchers here in the near future. I went. Danny's like, I went out to Shady Springs. So what'd you find out there, Danny? I know you've been talking to somebody down around Twin Falls area, and you got some recordings and stuff. What'd you find down around Shady Springs area? You find anything interesting? Tammy, I went down a rabbit hole. Yeah, Tammy, my brain's been in a rabbit hole. Cool. Brody, if you casted that, and it's a good one, the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum is looking for a well-defined, cast of a double bear print. They've been looking for one for a couple of years now. I found one maybe it was last year or the year before. It just wasn't very well. It wasn't very. I followed a trackway and found one double step, but it didn't turn out well. It didn't look very good. So yeah, if you ever come across one, you can cast it, and it's like really defined, and you're willing to. Somebody's messaging me on Facebook here. I'm sorry. It really to let the Bigfoot Museum kind of have it on loan. I appreciate it. Danny, let me put this up here. Several areas of trees and a couple ponds, good area.
Often groups of ponds in a given landscape, so-called pondscape.
I don't know why that just did that. For some reason, my phone decided to talk on its own. All right, folks, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit. Did not see anything, ask around, and no info. I interviewed the people last night. Was that the people, Danny? Was that the people that you met at down there at Bluestone? Was that those folks, or was it somebody different? Yes. Okay. So yeah, Danny met a couple down at Bluestone Lake before I got there a couple weeks ago. He was able to talk to him, interview him, and they. I believe you said the husband. The husband had a sighting. Am I correct, Danny? Was it the husband? Brody says, I casted it, the double bear step, and I'm waiting for it to set up. Awesome. If it turns out well, and like I said, if you want to loan it to the museum, Danny, we'd be more than happy to have it down there. They want to have one for comparison. Like I said, I've only found one, and it didn't turn out well when I casted it. It wasn't even a good print to start with. I mean, you could see the shape of it, but it didn't do well. It didn't come out well. All right. Well, I'll talk a little bit about what I got into this past weekend. Like I said, I can't reveal location. I can't reveal any names. But it's something happened that has me like baffled, has me thinking about a lot of different things, or rethinking things. Let's just put it that way. I got contacted by a husband and wife. I don't want to give away the location. Let's just say it's on the western edge of the state. And they told me they were seeing strange lights on their property. And I've had people tell me this before, and I've went and watched and never seen anything. I have seen a couple lights myself over the years. One was Randolph County, was kind of like an orb thing. The other one was in Dolly Sodge. It was kind of like an orange light coming across the sky that actually moved. erratically come across the sky and kind of went in a zigzag pattern. And that's all I've ever seen. And I still, the one in Dolly Sods, I'm still trying to figure it out. But I went to this property, and I spent most of the day Saturday there, and I talked to the family, the husband, wife, which is mom and dad, the kids. They have four kids, and they were experiencing other things also. Once I got to talk to them on the property, that I really can't go into, but I can't go into. They told me I could talk about the lights, but I can't really. They really me rather I don't share, like I said, publicly, or as far as putting them out there on social media. They told me they were seeing these lights, and I was like, okay. And so I went, and I was there most of the day Saturday. I sat and talked to them, and then when the evening came, I set up a chair because they have where their house is. They live on this plateau, and it's got a pretty big field, a nice big field. It's a pasture field, and I was sitting off the porch in my camping chair, and I seen a light come across the sky, about 9:30 or so at night. And I'm like, well, that could be anything. That's interesting to see. But that could have been just about anything. So I asked them and messaged them while they were in the house. I said, "Can you come back out?" And I showed them the picture that I took. I meant to take a video, but I hit the wrong button and ended up taking a picture. They said, "Yeah, that kind of looks like what we're talking about," but they said it's kind of early. And I'm like, "What do you mean by early?" And the mom's like, because she watches these things all the time. She said it's usually between 10 and 12, which is almost routine, between 10 and 12. And I'm like, okay. So they go back inside, and Dad comes out. It was about 10:30 or so, 10, somewhere in there. He comes back out. He said, "You see anything?" I said, "Well, I've seen a couple. I've seen a satellite. And I've seen a couple planes and whatnot." And then he said, "We're sitting there, and all of a sudden I look up and I see this light above the ridge that they said they see these things just appear. I mean, it just pops up, just like out of nowhere." And again, that could be, maybe there was a cloud cover, but it was a pretty fairly clear night. I'm like, well, maybe it's a star, maybe, and then it disappeared. And then it done it again, but in a different area. And this time, this light instead of this one here disappearing, another one comes up from the tree line, like out of the ridge line from the trees, comes up and stops directly across from this other light, just sits there. And I'm like, that's when I'm like, what in the world's going on here? They disappear. Those lights would be gone. And I would sit there and I watched. And this, not only did they just pop in and pop out, they started to come just from the trees. They would just come, like, it wasn't really straight up. They'd come up in an angle. And we actually watched one go up, like from left to right. As it went up, it disappeared. And then one came from above where that one disappeared and went from left to right in a downward angle. Then another one appeared. And then all of a sudden, you could see this bright orangish color, like a light come. You could tell it was behind the trees on the ridge. It was shining through the trees, come up, cleared the trees into the sky, and was bright orange and moves to a certain distance and again disappeared. This happened multiple times in a different area across this this ridge line. And I'm baffled. And this guy is let's just say, I don't really want to say where he's. I don't even think I want to give his occupation away either. Let's just say he knows aircraft. Let's just say that. So he would tell me, I know what, when we'd see a plane, he said, I know where that one's going. I know where it's coming from, and everything. And I asked him, I said, is there anything back there that these lights would be coming from? And he's like, no. He said, there's nothing there. And I looked on the map earlier, and we looked at, and I pulled up the satellite view, and where we were seeing these lights from their house is right around a quarter of a mile, and beyond that is woods, like deep woods, off to both sides, and the nearest road is another almost three quarters of a mile beyond that ridge, and there's other ridge lines between there. So there's no way that these are lights coming from cars, especially the ones that seem to come down. Like I said, there was other ones that would shoot up and stop. And actually seen, I got a short video where one comes up, a plane is going across, and then all of a sudden this other one just trails up with the second one, like they were just observing this plane. But I don't know how that's, how they were doing that, because the plane's much higher. And these things, we hiked to the ridge line, we didn't go up onto the ridge, but we hiked to the bottom of it, and they're maybe 200 feet above the ground, and that's it. No, Wes, no, they're not stars in any way. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about, sorry, Wes, I thought you was meaning some kind of star. Danny, you have any idea, guess about size? From a quarter of a mile, Danny, they look to be about basketball size. So I assume from right up close, they're probably at least 2 feet across, 3 feet across. I would assume. They're big lights. They're from that quarter of a mile, they look almost like the size of a basketball. And like I said, I caught them. I recorded them. I got several short videos, and I have a 19-minute video where I sat and just let it record and watch these lights. And there was several of them that happened during that 19-minute video. They don't move fast. They move slow and steady. Not only did we capture that, but as I'm recording those lights, you could see in the wood line on the ridge, you'll actually see flashes of white, like white lights. And there's nothing there. There's no houses. There are no people. We went down there the next day. There is no signs of people. There's no camps like somebody's been camping. Nothing. And I am completely blown away by what I saw. I have never seen anything like it. I've been doing this a long time, and like I said, completely blown away. And I was able to share the video to a couple of people. Tammy, I actually seen her today. I let her watch it. I let an astronomer friend of mine watch it, and another researcher. Well, I didn't let him, not the whole video, but the short pieces. Another seasoned researcher, I'll just say that. He's been doing this a long time, way longer than I have, and he is fascinated by it. He is like, that is so amazing. He said, I've only heard of things like this. And so have I, until this weekend. And I'm still, like I said, I'm racking my brain trying to figure these lights out. And I'm trying to figure out how, if they're a natural occurrence, how are they a natural occurrence? My astronomer friend, we talked about, gas lights, possible if there's any, but there's no swamps, there's no mines. We were talking about earthquake lights where, people have seen, flashes of lights during this. These are not flashes. These are balls of light. And he watched them, and he's like, that is not a celestial event. That's something different. That's something stranger than anything he's experienced as well and seen. Yeah, Dave, it is weird. I I wish I could share it with you. Maybe after some time, maybe they will let me share some with it with some folks. I will be going back here in the very near future. I was supposed to speak at an event next weekend, not this weekend coming, but the weekend following, and some other stuff come up, some family stuff, so I can't make it. I had to cancel that, but I'm going to do my best to make it down there again for at least one night and see what it is. Mogs, yeah, this is. I mean, like I was telling people, I've seen the balls a couple times, like close. These are different. They're just moving. I mean, these are bright. Like they look like something. I don't want to say they have an intelligence to them. I don't really want to say that, but they move in a way that seems like sometimes they're aware of what their the surroundings. Whether I don't know, it's just weird. I wish, like I said, I wish I could share it. Radiation has been detected. I don't know, Danny. I'm thinking about buying, cheap as best I can, a little Geiger counter here, and taking it with me next weekend to see if there is any kind of radiation. But like I said, the lights are the only thing. No, these lights are the only thing I haven't seen, Mogs, is no, Dave, no, they're not fireflies, buddy. These are, yeah. The only thing I can say is I haven't seen it, but they have witnessed it. The family of these things lining up. They also seen them go into a triangle pattern. They have not seen crafts. Now, don't get me wrong; they have not seen any kind of craft at all. Brown dwarf move like a wiffle ball. These ones in the woods. That I will agree with the one I seen in Randolph County. It moved like if you when you see a wiffle ball being hit or thrown, it does that. Whatever. Yes, those did that. These don't. These move in a very distinctive line. Like I said, I don't know if you were in here when I was telling the beginning. There, I have a video where one comes up, one comes down. After this one disappears, it's going up. One comes down, another one goes up, and then all of a sudden, this bright orange one shines through the trees before it clears the treetops and goes up. And they move about the same speed. Some of them move a little bit different, Danny. They're not fast at all. But here's the thing: they don't always move in a straight line. They don't zigzag either. There was a couple, like I said, there was one that come up, this one came out of the trees and turned like in an arc and come up and stopped parallel with the other one. And like I said, I'm like dumbfounded. I'm so dumbfounded watching these lights, folks, that I forgot that I had a night vision. I forgot I had a thermal. I never even thought about getting my thermal out to see if they have a heat signature, because I'm like just like in awe of what I'm seeing. And these people have been experiencing this for just around a little over a year. She sometimes nightly, sometimes there's some breaks in it. The lady sent me a video early this morning about showing me showing me two that she caught last night. Yeah, like I said, and Christina. Is it near the National Quiet Zone, the West Virginia Radio Telescope region? Radio frequencies and electronic waves could be something to look into. Do they move like radio? No, they are not in that area, and they do not move like radio waves or frequency waves. They do not. Good question, though. I mean, it's something to think about, but no, they do not. Let me give you an example of why. I mean, I think they seem to have some kind of, like I said, I don't want to say intelligence, but I would say awareness, maybe. There was a plane that was coming across the sky. You know, your typical plane you see the blinking lights, and there one comes out of the trees and goes up. Like this plane goes across, it goes up. And when it stops, another one comes in an angle, curves, and goes up. And they slowly move in an angle tandem to each other in the direction of where this plane is flying across the sky, which, like I said, the height of the plane is definitely higher than what these lights are. But they were, to me, these lights knew that there was an aircraft going across the sky. And like I said, I'm baffled and dumbfounded trying to figure, what they are. I'm trying to figure out if it's a natural occurrence, how can they do that? How do they know? It's so weird to watch. And and me telling you all about it, I know just doesn't do it justice. I wish I could share the videos, or at least one video, but I just can't right now. Let me see. Dave, if it disappeared, it sounds almost like it may have docked with something. I believe the craft can camouflage themselves. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think there's a craft there. They just seem to blink out, wink out, whatever you want to call it, just like, and then, yeah. But here's the thing. They do that, and then a little bit later, you'll actually see it pop back up, and it may be over a little bit or whatever, and it just pops back up. It appears again. But they're just so weird, And I again, I can't figure what it's about or what they are. So I just want to share that with you guys. And if you have some theories, or if you have some kind of information, a place I could go read about some of this a little bit more, or do a little bit more research in them, I mean, I definitely am up to listening. But like I said, there's other activity going on the property that I don't know if it's in conjunction with these, if it's related or whatever. But there's a couple other weird things going on. Like I said, I just can't go into it right now. But yeah, I didn't catch anything like that. I did catch the lights. And I told the folks when I went there, I said, I'm completely being honest with you. Don't be upset if we don't see anything, because I don't really have expectations. I don't really come in here with an expectation to see anything, because it may or may not happen. So yeah, and it did. It did for sure. Absolutely amazing. Do you describe it as good as? Let me see here. Pretty sure, Les. Do you describe it as good as you possibly could? But I'm hoping to. I'm trying. Like I said, Timothy, it's hard for me to explain what I was seeing, because I don't know what I was seeing, other than I was seeing lights that done things I never seen before in the sky. No, Tammy, good question again. I forgot to mention that. Do you or them hear anything? Absolutely nothing. There is no sound. And we're on this plateau, and you can hear a plane just as easily as anything. There is no sound whatsoever associated with these lights. I didn't hear a single sound whenever I seen them. I did hear the planes, once the plane went over, you got that typical lag, the plane goes by, the sound comes in. Yeah, you hear that. Not these. There was no sound. None. And yeah, pretty wild. So, like I said, if I get a chance, if they let me, the only reason I would share them is to see if anybody has ever seen anything like these. So, Danny, nearest trees are covered or wide open. Danny, we're in a field, It's a pasture that's probably, well, let me tell you, just give you an example how big this pasture is. Setting at the house to the far corner where these lights are being seen, or it's kind of off to the left where the lights are being seen, but the very farthest corner is 287 yards. And it's pretty much that almost in every direction, or except for the left where, the house sits next to the driveway. But it's, you're looking at 287 yard sweeping angle, or whatever you want to say, chunk of land. I mean, it's a pretty good sized field. Just past that is a small tree line then it goes down. There is a small bottom that has where they used to have, had another little pasture that's not very big. There's a pond, and then it goes up to a ridge, and the ridge runs all along the pretty good span. Drops over. There's another valley. This is going by the maps and the topo maps I was looking at. Another valley, another ridge line, mountains or whatever you want to call it. Drops off again, and then there's a road, which is, like I said, from where the lights are being seen, about another close to 3/4 of a mile away. So in order to see the lights from the road, you'd have to go across 2 ridges, or get to the second ridge, and lights somehow go from the ridge up. So yeah. Yeah, Dave, I can't wait. Yeah, I want to talk about that, guys. The camp out. 18, 19, and 20, right? Yep, that's pretty sure it's 18, 19, 20. October. Does everybody know where the no, Danny, there's no power lines, there's nothing. This is all woods, all wooded. It's a big swath of just unmolested forest. There's nothing there. Nothing. Tammy, you can attest to that. I showed you the area on Google Maps today. You can tell that it's but yeah, the camp out sounds like something could hide there if it wanted. Yeah, whatever's making these lights, I guess they could, but I don't, like I said, I'm not ready to say that these things are caused by some kind of aliens or anything. It could be very well be some kind of natural phenomena. But the weird thing is, you'd think it would do it more I guess you'd say, whatever I'm trying to say, it would happen a lot more, I guess, than just like a certain time period. It seems to happen in a certain time period. And I don't understand that. Because once they quit, here's the weird thing. We also noticed that the flight traffic kind of slowed down, once it got a certain time of night. And and the lights kind of quit. The lady told me when it would. She goes, "Yes, this is when they." She's been keeping track of these for a year. She can tell me they usually start this time. It's not every night, but she goes, it's majority. The majority of it will happen at least 5 out of 7 days. She told me, and again, she gave me a specific time, an area that they happen in, but they have on occasion seen these lights come over and above, nearly above the house. So they're not just, centralized around this ridge. But when she told me 10 to 12, I was like, okay, well, 11:30 was probably the last one I seen. Yes, Brown Dwarf. It's not right there in that space. It's off to the right. If you're looking at the ridge, it's kind of off to this side. I actually have a video where I was actually recording a satellite coming through. You can see the satellite, and it actually went through the Big Dipper. But like I said, these lights are not at star height or plane height. They're no more than probably 200 feet off the ground, because you can see them come from behind the trees in an upward angle. Like I said, I don't know how to explain it, but other than that, yeah, it's like I said, I'm thinking of everything you guys have. I'm trying to question everything, and I can't figure it out. Not yet. Not yet. I'm still trying to talk to a few folks that might help, give me some ideas, throw around some ideas. And Thrifty Mountaineer, hey, buddy. Yeah, I actually was able to show him those lights today too, because that's when I seen Tammy was at the Thrifty Mountaineer, and a friend of ours owned it, and I showed him the short video. Yeah, right above the trees. Tammy's right. Yeah, they're right above the trees. But again, let's go back to the camp out real quick. 18th, 19th, 20th. Is that right? I keep getting it right or wrong. Yep, 18, 19, 20. October at Laurel Fork Campground. Those of you who don't know where Laurel Fork Campground is, if you put it in Google, or I'll get the coordinates for it. It's outside of Elkins. It's kind of a semi-remote campground. You go outside of Elkins and you go. The easiest way is go into Gandy and come in that way. If you go outside of Elkins, you'll go across the first mountain, and you go to the bottom. And Alpena Lodge, or the Stone Lodge, is on the left. Gandy Road's on the right. You follow Gandy, and you go out through Gandy, and you'll go through the little town of Gandy and make a hard turn. Stay straight. After you go through a hard turn, you go out there about a quarter mile, and the road will split. The right hand road will go out toward Little River, and if you stay straight, that'll take you up across the mountain, and it'll take you to Laurel Fork. Or if you go to Middle Mountain, you go in that way. You go top Middle Mountain, you'll see the brown signs that say Laurel Fork camping area, or Laurel Fork, something like that. I forget exactly what it says, but you'll see it there. But GPS will take you there. It'll take you straight in there. It is a double-sided campground. There's a road that runs, little gravel road runs in between it. The one on the left has maybe 4 or 5 sites, maybe something like that. I'm trying to remember how many it does have, but that's where the bathrooms are at. Yeah, Gandy. Sorry, but not Gandy, folks. Glady. I always do that. Glady. But there's 2 bathrooms there, and like I said, there's a few campsites there. It's $8 a night per site, not per vehicle, per person, per site. So if you're coming in Friday night, you'd have to pay for Friday night, and Saturday night you pay on spot. It's first come, first serve. I'm going to be there as early as I can Friday, and try to reserve at least the top part, or try to get all the sites that's at the top, or the left hand side where the bathrooms are at, and try to get those reserved for folks. And yeah, if you're going to come, please let me know. Send me a message. I do know, Danny's coming, Dave's coming, Tammy's coming. Who else? Tony said he was coming. So Vesta, are you and Brody coming? I really like for you. I mean, even if you guys just want to come and hang out for a little while, I really like to have you guys there. Yeah, and if you guys know anybody else who wants to come, more than happy. We're going to just hang out, do some cooking, talking. Maybe we'll explore back in the valley a little bit. There's a big field, if it's not overgrown now, but used to be a big field back here. Be an awesome place to set. Davey was asking about the Milky Way last time. That might be a good place to actually see it if we can. Like I said, because where this is at is pretty steep hillsides. So seeing the Milky Way, you almost got to have it directly above you when you're over there. And we may be able to do that on that field. I don't know. Then maybe we can explore there's a few back roads up there that we can hit that has a couple well spots on it. We can look around. Yeah, bring water, folks. Bring everything. Make sure you bring water. Food. Make sure we bring water. But yeah, we'll do some exploring and hanging out. Talk. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about this time. just getting to know everybody, and maybe we can, and then again next year sometime, then we can do some more in-depth, I guess you'd say, research for the area. Look around, get into the deeper spots. I'd take you to a couple places that I go over there, like Osceola, but there's really no parking at Osceola. We'd have to carpool like one big van or something in order to do that. But there's been activity in Osceola. There's been some activity near Glady. Actually, Glady is where I interviewed a man a couple years ago about a sighting he had, and that's where I actually seen the bouncing light. Was in Glady, and I was actually on a gentleman's property, sitting in my van, because he said there's vocals you'll hear quite a bit, and I never heard any vocals, but I did see that strange light. Danny, the picky took a bluestone. Yeah, I wish I could load that up. I really would like to. That'd be cool to show everybody. I actually caught the Milky Way with my phone, believe it or not, at Bluestone Lake a couple weeks ago. First time I was able to actually catch it on a phone. I have a new iPhone 15, and it was cool. I found the setting in there where you can make it a long exposure, like 12 seconds, and I was actually able to catch the Milky Way. Dave, I've been looking up some stuff around the area, Bigfoot wise. Did you find anything? What have you found? Did you find anything cool? I mean, the surrounding areas have had several sightings. Osceola, there's been some reported at Dolly Sod, or not Dolly Sods, but Spruce Knob. Little River just across the mountain. There's been some sightings there, some supposed activity. And hopefully we can get a hold of a gentleman in the area. Me and Tammy's going to try to get him to venture out. He does a lot of research in that area. His name's Daniel Boone. Some of you may know him. I'm hoping to get him to come out and share some of his knowledge here, because that's his area. The Randolph area, the Glady area, the Lower Fork area. That's his area. So hopefully we get him to come out and talk to us a bit and share some of his stories. Dave, just some basic reports, audio sightings. I don't remember a lot of details I read. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, if you find some, Dave, print them out, bring them with you, so we can talk about them. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to get on some databases and try to find some other stuff, and bring it with us, and we'll talk about it. I found a gas line that goes from Bickle Knob through Osceola and Glady on Google Maps. That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, there right there, folks. There's a means of travel. Brody's research. Yep, absolutely. See, that's what I mean, folks. He's doing this. He's doing it right. He's checking out the areas he's in. So yeah, there's a mode of transportation, I guess you'd say. I mean, if you believe that they travel, gas right of ways and power line right of ways, which why wouldn't they? It's open land most of the time. Other than some brush a lot of times, but a lot of these right of ways nowadays have 4-wheeler trails on them. A lot of people use them for that. So yeah, there's definitely a way to get around, and that's what I tell folks. When you're in the area, you want to research an area. First thing you need to look at, you look at food, water, shelter. And if there's something there, then go look for it. Definitely look for it. Wes, I'm going to figure something out, buddy. I'm going to try to get you up here. If I have to leave early Friday morning, drive down to get you up there, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll take you home Sunday. Because I want you there. I want you there. You're a friend. You're a good friend of mine. I enjoy hanging out with you. I enjoy your I enjoy hearing the story, the experiences you've had on your property, and I know other people will too. So yeah, if I have to do that, I would definitely am going to do that. So we're going to get you there, buddy. Danny, I'm going to try to go back to Bull Falls this weekend. You going down there and sit in a chair like the guy told us? Just go down and hang out and listen across the river. If you do, take your recorder, record everything, buddy. See what we find. But yeah, folks, when he's talking about Bull Falls, it's actually kind of like the backwaters of Bluestone Lake. There used to be an old campground. Well, it's kind of a pain in the, not really a pain in the butt, but it's deep in there. You follow this little windy road and you get back in there, and there used to be the old campground's all gone now. They don't take care of it anymore. But there's one spot where everybody fishes and you can get down to the water, and that's where we were told to go and just sit and listen. Just they said you'll hear stuff. So hopefully you catch something, man. Dave, I'll be dropped off and told to tuck and roll. Yeah, I tell my kids that all the time, Dave. I take them to practice or something. I'm like, yeah, tuck and roll, boys, tuck and roll. Going to try and leave a recorder and a camera. If you do, make sure you put it somewhere where it can't be seen, because if that's as much as that's frequented by fishermen and stuff, you might lose your camera recorder. So yeah, definitely kind of hide it somewhere. I'd probably hide it somewhere over in the old campground along over there somewhere where it's inconspicuous. Not over the fishing hole. So yeah, but tell me what you catch. Way on down there. Yeah, it's deep in there. Deep in there. So folks, okay. Wow, we've already been on here 47 minutes. Open mic night. Anybody got anything they'd like to share? I'm gonna put the link in here again. Come on in, anything. I don't care what it is. We'll talk Bigfoot. We'll talk a little bit of ghosts. We talk aliens, and don't matter to me. Just somebody wants to come on, just hit that link, follow the prompts, and come on, and we'll finish the show up talking. Just chit chatting. Oh, I want to ask y'all something. Last week when John was on, did you hear or see anything in that video that would prompted a copyright infringement against me? I got dinged on YouTube for copyright from that video. I don't know what it could have been. There was no sound. There was no music. I don't know if there was something. I don't remember what I was wearing. I don't know if did I have a shirt on that had? I don't remember what shirt I had on. I need to go back and look. I don't know. I don't think John said anything, but yeah, I got dinged for copyright just on an interview video. I mean, I can understand when some of you got music or something, but there was nothing on there. It was crazy. It's unreal. So here in a little bit, I am going, about 10 o'clock, I will be on another podcast. A friend of mine, Justin Decker, hosts another podcast. He's wanting me to come on there and chit chat with him for a little bit. And I'm going to, here we go. Hey, Tim, let me get you on here, buddy.
My camera probably won't work. I'm in the bedroom laying on the bed.
That's all right. Hey, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing all right. I got about a 3-inch hole in my head.
Well, I'm happy to hear from you. I know you was in the hospital.
Yeah, I had skin cancer took off my forehead.
Right.
And that was on Friday and Saturday. I ended up back in the emergency room. It started pouring the blood.
So how are you doing now?
I'm doing pretty good. It's healing up quite a bit.
Good. They get it. They take care of all of it.
Yeah, they packed it and put pressure on it, and it quit bleeding for about 30 to 40 minutes, and they made me sit there almost 2 hours to make
Wow.
sure.
But I mean, the surgery, is it taking care of everything, or
Yeah, they got it all. They went clean to my skull.
Ooh, I can't imagine that. Well, I'm glad to hear from you, man. I'm glad to hear that you're doing all right. I mean, I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you post much lately, so I was just making sure. I'm hoping you're okay.
Yeah, I ain't been on. I just been watching the group and a little bit of YouTube here and there.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk about what you experienced at Salt Fork?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. For those you don't know, Kim Gayhart is a researcher out of Ohio, and he has had some pretty interesting things happen at Salt Fork State Park. And some of you may or may not know that Salt Fork State Park, for some reason, is a hot spot. It's probably one of the most most active spots, considered one of the most active spots in Ohio. And even though it's a heavily visited area, it seems like there is just all kind of activity that goes on there. I got to go there. What month was that when I come up? Me and Mason. April. Okay. Because it was my birthday weekend. That's right.
Yeah.
We went up and hung out with Tim and Old Bear and Grizzly and Tim's wife and several other folks. They hold a camp out like we're trying to do here in a couple weeks, or in a few weeks, guys. They have a pretty good turnout, and it was pretty fun to come. And I wish I could have made it last month? You had another one they had up there.
Yeah, we had it in August.
Yeah,
I wish I could have made
that. Yeah, I couldn't make that one. But yeah,
oh, you missed out, buddy.
I heard there was some interesting stuff going on again.
Off the chain, buddy.
Yeah. So
let's activity every night.
Huh?
There was activity every night.
Cool.
We went to different locations in the park.
Nice. Well, let's talk about what you experienced. Your experience at Salt Fork State Park is what got you into it, right?
Yep, that's where I first did the full body one.
Okay, when did this happen?
And April of 2021.
Okay. And what exactly did you experience?
Well, the first one I seen was a big dark black one. It was a Hosak's cave at the parking area. And I was standing behind the car at the time, smoking a cigarette, watching the ridge line there as it goes up to the left side of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen this big black, that was pretty 8-9 foot tall, walk from an oak tree over to a big beech tree, which was probably 15 to 18 foot apart. And I was standing there arguing with myself when I seen it, that my eyes playing tricks on me. Did I just see what that was walk across there?
Right.
And I stood there and argued with myself for a while, and I'm like, I know I just seen what I seen walk across there. And that was the first full body one I seen. And so my wife was down at the little backwater area there, a little beach-like area there, looking for shells and rocks and prints and stuff. And I walked down there to where she was and told her. And then I come back up there and showed her where I was standing and where it walked through. Then we walked down towards the dead end, past the guardrail there. And I was looking at, us people from the hills, we call it that slide where animals come off the hill.
Right.
And they clean all the vegetation off in their trail. And I seen one slide there, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, well, couldn't find no deer tracks or nothing in it. I'm like, now something's coming off the hill here. Walked on down along. Here's another one. And I'm looking at it, and I still can't find no deer tracks or nothing in it. It's slick. And I stand there, kept looking, and there was like a little sap one there about 14, 15 inches tall, had a split in it, a V. And I looked and I said, ain't that a footprint right there? And my wife, she said, where? And I moved that little twig there And I said, right there. I pointed my cane at it, and it was about a 9-inch track, barefooted like a human. And I'm like, and it's the bank is probably 65, 70 degrees, almost straight up down. And I'm like, that ain't no person barefooted trying to climb that hill. So
I will say something about that real quick. Just imagine 65, 70-degree incline. If was it an entire print?
Yeah.
Okay, you just think of the ankle in articulation that animal has to have to leave an entire print on something that steep. That's just like insane.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a bend for that ankle to do.
Yep. Yeah, it was about a 9-inch print. It was probably 9 inches long, and it's probably about 4 inches wide at the ball of the foot. Then at the heel of the foot, it was probably about 3.5 to 4 inches. So it was almost symmetrically the same all the way up. And I was standing there looking at that. She took a picture of it. She started walking on down toward the dead end, toward the lake. And I was standing there looking at it. And then she goes, "Hey, babe, hey. I'm like, what?" She said, "I see one right up here, a little one. It's right up here by this big white tree." I said, "Well, I looked. I said, where's your phone?" She's in my back pocket. I said, "Well, get your phone out." I said, "Try to get a picture of it. Time I get down there to you." She's probably 75, 80 feet from me.
Yeah.
So I start walking down toward her real slow, watching the hill. Didn't want to try to run or anything, make a lot of noise. Didn't want to scare it. She gets a couple pictures of it. And I get down there. She pointed it up the hill. I said, "It's right there by that white tree." And I said, "You mean that big beech tree right there?" And she goes, "Yeah." And yeah, his little one is about 3.5 foot, 4 foot tall. It had its little arm around the beech tree, holding on to the beech tree. And we were standing there looking at it, and then we heard, you know how you pop your tongue? That.
Right.
And that little thing went around the tree just to get it. And it just disappeared. I mean, we stand there watching for probably 2 or 3 minutes to see if it sneaked back around the tree and look at us or anything, but it never did show itself no more.
Right.
And we walked upwards away so we could try to see on both sides of the tree, but we didn't want to go up the hill. It's too steep there. And that was the first one we ever got a picture of. And it was a little bitty one, young one. Then we left there, which I should have told you about the part where we crossed the log right behind the guardrail there. There was a fallen log laying across the blacktop there. It was probably 15, 18 foot long. It was as long as across the road. The road is wide there. Right. And she told me not to trip over it when we was going in. And when we come back out, then we went over to Bigfoot Ridge, got in the car and went over to Bigfoot Ridge and stayed over there probably an hour, 2 hours almost, watching and looking and listening. And we was coming back. I said, "Let's go back over. We might be able to see." I said, I seen the one and you seen the one. You got a picture of. We might get to see them again if we go back over there. So we started back over there. Then something in my mind said the female was going to come out and show herself. And I told my wife, I said, "Well, Sally," that's the name she gave me. And I said, "She going to come out and show me her hairy boobs." My wife said, "Who's Sally and why is she going to show you her hairy boobs?" I said, "That's the name of the Bigfoot. She's going to come out and show herself to me." And she said, "Well, I hope so. We might get a picture, a good picture." And so we got down there. We walked down to where we seen the little one at, down there. When we come around the guardrail, and I'm like, "Whoa, just a minute." I'm like, "Where's that log that was laying right here?" Well, I had to step over, going and coming.
Right.
She looked and said, "Well, it's gone." I got to look and I said, "No, it's over there and it's broken 3 pieces." It was broken into about 5-foot pieces, 3 of them, and they was laying like at it, like kind of a triangle shape. And I'm like, I looked them logs over, and I'm like, well, nobody come here and took no axe to it.
Right.
Nobody took the chainsaw. I said, these are broke, and this log is probably 7 to 8 inches around. Ain't no human being breaking no 7 or 8 inch tree
Right.
in 3 pieces. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't rotten. It was dead, but it wasn't rotten.
Right.
Because when it broke, you see the white wood where it broke, where it broke. We go down through there looking, watching the hillside, and get down there where we found the first print. Right beside it's a big footprint now, and it wasn't there the first time. Now this footprint's almost 17 inches by about 7 inches wide. And I'm like, can you believe that? I said, that come off the hill and broke that log into 3 pieces and moved it off the road because I was going to keep me from tripping over and having a hard time walking down through here. I'm like, ain't no way. I couldn't even believe it myself, but the log was laying there and the footprint was there. And I'm like, okay. We walked on down through, didn't see nothing. Come back up. You know where the little ditch comes out of Hose Axe is? There it comes across the road.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Just to the left of that, there was the empty grassy spot. But at that time, they brought in a front end loader and pushed the trash and stuff up that people had there. And it was all bare dirt. We walked up in there. I was looking for tracks in that fresh dirt to see if easy to find tracks of fresh dirt. And all I could find was deer and coon and turkey. And I was still looking for tracks. And she was over next toward the hill a little bit. And she said, babe. I go, what? She goes, got one standing right here in front of me. A big one. And I'm like, look at her. I'm like, where's your phone? In my back pocket. I said, get it out and get to taking pictures. And I stepped over next to her. I was probably 10 or about 8 or 9 foot from her. And I started easing over toward her, not trying to move too fast. Got over by her. And she said, it's straight up, right up there by that big tree. And I'm like, I'm looking. And I'm like, well, I can't see it. There's too many bushes here. She said, here, step right in front of me. She done took 1 or 2 pictures of it. I stepped right in front of her and looked up her, plain as day, is standing right there beside that tree, the whole full body. She said, that's a female. She got big old boobs. I'm like, I told you she was going to come out and show me her hair and boobs. Then she goes, well, let me see if I can get a little, you think she'd let me get closer so I can get a better picture? It's too far for this phone. And I said, as soon as you make any step toward her, she's gone. She made about 2 steps because there was a little bit of tree roots and there. She was trying to not fall on them. Time she looked down and looked back up, she was gone. Didn't hear it run up the hill, didn't nothing. I mean, it was just a matter of blink your eye and it done disappeared. That's the one we call Sally.
Now, let me ask you something. The footprint you found on the hill, how far up the hill was it? That steep of a grade.
That steep of a grade from where I was at the base of at the base to where it stepped at was probably 3.5 foot. And then it was probably 3.5 to 4 foot up to the top where it started leveling off again.
Okay.
So it stepped about halfway between.
Okay.
1 step.
So it wasn't a great big hill. It was just like a small bank.
Yeah, it's I mean, the steepest part's right there. It's probably 6 foot, 6.5 foot tall, steep area. Then it starts, it's still going uphill, but the steepness levels out a little bit. Okay. And it goes to like 40 or 30% grade then.
Okay.
You know how when they cut a right away for a road, cut the edge of the bank? Well, that's what it was.
Okay. Got you. All right. So it was. I was okay. I was under, thought maybe it was a big hill, like a big bank. So yeah, I got you now. Like just like a small
It's like
bank.
where they cut the road through there and cut just the edge of the bank off.
Okay, gotcha.
But you know how high the hill goes through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 foot there or something like that's really, really steep. Now, when we was down there in August, did you see the pictures I posted on the group and stuff with the handprints on the truck and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was sitting on the tailgate when it touched the truck.
You was sitting on what?
I was sitting on the tailgate when it come up and touched the truck.
Okay. Was it,
I seen it.
What time of night was that?
It was about 10:30.
Very cool.
Yeah, we went out on an investigation up on, I think it was Road 55. It's all dirt, gravel road. And they have CRP fields up through there and stuff that you can pull off in and parking areas.
Yeah.
And we had a whole clan with us up there that night. That was, say, Thursday we went to Hozak's and Devil's Knob. Friday we went up there, up 55, I think it's 55 and 51.
Okay.
And see, Friday morning we washed the truck because we went out Thursday night up to Devil's Knob and stuff. It's a gravel road. So the truck was washed Friday morning.
Right.
So we went up there on Friday night, which would have been the 23rd. And I'm pretty sure it's Road 55. And we pulled in there in the parking area and parked. And where the way the truck that we had was parked was right, the passenger side was just 3 or 4 foot from the edge of the wood line. And me and Gwendolyn Purcell was sitting on the tailgate of the truck because she got in Chigger somewhere that day before. And they ate her up. And so she was sitting on the tailgate of the truck with me while the rest of them went down in the woods, down the trail in the woods. They was probably 100 to 150 yards away from us. And Bear made one of his calls. And there was a dog over my left shoulder, which I think that's west up there on that part. I'm not definitely for sure what direction it was, but it was over my left shoulder.
All right.
The dog, it started barking 2 or 3 barks after he made the call. Then just as it shut up, there was 3 crazy like noises. I hadn't heard nothing like it. It was not like a screech owl, but it was like a screech owl, coyote, yip, screech, some kind of, it was crazy noise 3 times. And we were sitting there, then I heard the brush moving. And just as I turned my head, it stood up. It come out of the brush on its all 4s. When it stood up, it was right beside the back passenger door, and I was sitting on the tailgate. I rested, got my pistol out of the holster, wrenched around in it, had it in my hand, and Gwendolyn goes, "You got a gun?" I go, "Yeah, I got a gun. I don't go out with a gun." And she says, then I heard another one coming around through the field across the road. I'm trying to watch this, and then I hear one over here or something going through the weeds, which would have been over my right shoulder, and I got her attention to try to keep her to listen and watch for that one. Well, I'm trying to watch to make sure this one don't do nothing stupid because it's only 7 to 8 foot from me. And I'm still sitting there with my gun in my hand, ready to use it if I have to. And then I heard the other one come across the gravel road and come into the woods going towards Bear and them. And Gwen said, "Yeah, I hear it going through the woods right there." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's another one." I didn't tell her the one was standing right here over my left shoulder because I didn't need her to make a reaction and cause this thing over here to have a reaction as close as it was. Then I turned back around and looked, and it got back down and left.
Hmm.
But the
That's
next
crazy.
morning, we found I come out of the motel room the next morning after we went back and dropped everybody off at the campground and stuff. Come out next morning to smoke a cigarette and was going to get something out of the truck, and I looked, and here I see a print toward the front of the door. Then I see a bigger print toward the back of the door, and I stepped back into the hotel room doorway and hollered for my wife to come out there, Renee. I'm like, look here, what's on the truck? Look here, what's on the truck? It was covered with dust. And I'm like, oh man, we ain't got nothing to put up. I said, I hope we can get to the campground and show everybody before anything disturbs them.
Right.
Yeah. And then we got there, and Gwen, she had some clear tape and stuff, and we lifted all the prints off in there.
Cool.
We got them
Very
on the
cool.
tape.
Very cool.
But when she lifted them, it took everything off the truck.
Oh yeah, it will. Yes, it will. Well, Tim, I appreciate you coming on. I'm up against my time limit here, and
All right, buddy.
Thanks for coming on, talking to us, and sharing some stuff with us.
Yep.
Where can folks find you?
On YouTube, it's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers. On Facebook, it's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers.
When's the next camp out? Is it next year?
It probably won't be until April.
April next year.
Yep.
All right, well, keep me in the loop. I'd like to come up, and I seen a couple folks saying they'd like to, Salt Fork's on their bucket list. So maybe we can do something to get some more people up there and hang out with you and everybody.
Yeah. We had probably almost 40 that there in August.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And folks, yeah, it's a good time. They, what's the gentleman's name that kind of hosts it?
Josh Kinsley.
Josh, yeah. He
Yeah.
does. He'll do like little classes and stuff, like casting classes and stuff like that. Pretty cool events. Neat little thing. Everybody gets around the campfire in the evening, does a just like a meeting, talk about stuff, like we're doing here. Just talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Had a good time. I had a fun time there last time, and I wish I could have made it in August, but I just couldn't. But yeah, I hope to see you next April. I'd like to come up again.
Yeah, man, come anytime. If you want to come up here and investigate with us, hey, just bring your clothes, man. You stay here in my house. I got another boy in here, man. We can come up and stay for a weekend.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll get a hold of you.
All righty, buddy.
Hey, when do they close the park up there at any time? Like the campgrounds, do they close it during a certain time of year?
The group camp and the regular camp and areas, the last of October, I think, is when they close them.
Okay,
but
that's what I kind of figured.
I think they keep the primitives, but I think they keep one of them open year round.
Okay.
For the main one in the main park.
Yeah.
I think he keep it open year round. Okay. But the primitive camping ones, they close down, I think, at the last of October.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to get up there. I'd also like to get up there with Bill Rigby sometime. I'd like for him to take and show me where he had his sighting a couple years ago. So
that's Salt Fork.
Yeah, it's all.
That was right there, just out of the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like for him to take me and show me one day. All right, Tim. Like I said, I'm up against the time here. I appreciate you coming on. I'll have you guys on. I want to have you guys on sometime. I'll keep in touch with you. We'll get you scheduled to come on, you and Renee. All right.
All righty.
You get all healed up, buddy. I'll see you soon.
All right, I'm trying.
All right.
See you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. Well, like I said, I'm up against a time limit here. I kind of try to set me a time limit like hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, thanks for everybody for coming. Wes, have a good night. Thank you for the the kind words. I mean, like I said, I'm just like in awe and humbled that everybody comes and watches, and talks and chats, and it's always been positive. And And yeah, I enjoy it. So that being said, get out there, have a good time. Try to find what you're looking for. Do it the smart way. Do it the right way. And just be safe. All you can do. If you don't get out there, you'll never find a thing. And again, you may never find something, but you won't always wonder if you could, if you did, if you would have or wouldn't have. So everybody have a good night. We'll see you next time. Talk to you tomorrow or next time. Sorry. Bye.